Well, here I am in the Golden Studio, and I got my notes for today's show. And I got to tell you, it's freaking me out because I'm looking at President Xi is hosting his old friend, Vladimir Putin, and she's pushing a new global order flanked by Russia and India. Now, President Trump is trying to get Putin to stop killing in the Ukraine. They got 18,000 kids. Melania doesn't like it. They've abducted from Ukraine. So what we're talking about is Trump's Bessett just gave the clue they're going to increase the pressure on Russia. Well, he can't increase the pressure economically on Russia if India is buying all their oil. So Trump is wanting, I'll tell you what, he's going to start to put the pressure on India and say, you guys want, as a matter of fact, he just wrote a tweet, a True Social rather. I have it somewhere in my pile of notes. And he goes after India and says, hey, we've had a lousy relationship economically with India, and they're buying everything from Russia. He's letting them know he doesn't like them supporting the regime he's trying to bring to the table for peace. You get the story? Well, I'm telling you that because I guarantee these are BRICS. Then I realized, oh, my God, these are the BRICS nations. It's Russia and India and China. All we're missing is Brazil. It's the BRICS nations. These cats are ready to take America out. Thank God for Donald Trump. Thank God he's healthy. Thank God he's there. But, folks, if you were just going to throw this out there, if you're a thinking person, then you're thinking longer term. Why do you think gold, and I keep coming back to this, why do you think gold has gone up 30% like in the last year, 70% in the last 2.5 years? And where do you think it's going to go in the future? I almost can promise you it's going to keep going up, because Donald Trump is creating confidence in the market right now. Everything's okay, folks. I'm here. But, man, if he's not there, be smart. I want you to go to lancewallnau.com/gold before we do our show. lancewallnau.com/gold. And talk to some of my friends that are involved with gold and silver and other precious metals, because you could take your retirement money, put it there, best invested in there. It's like putting it on Boardwalk and Park Place in a Monopoly game. You'll be glad you did. Had I done it when I was talking to you about it 2 years ago, I'd be a much better off man right now. I stopped one day and I told Annabelle, I said, we got to do this ourselves, honey. We got to get jumping in on it. So I'm a believer in this. lancewallnau.com/gold. And let's get into today's power politics on the global Game of Thrones. You know, the one thing you don't want to do is at any random moment at the end of the day, like go to X and look for news or trending news. I will never do it again. Never do it again. It's toxic. I go there and I click on it and it says Trump is dead. What? And I go, and all the headlines there are going to Trump death, Trump, what happened to Trump. And I thought, my God, then I right away go to the other news sources. There's nothing. And I thought, what? And then I started reading the news feed. And Mercedes, it was a trend of frustrated left-wing crazy people.
It was crazy.
They're so frustrated that they're just now prophesying. It's like putting your fingers in your ears and going, la, 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 la. Trump is dead. Trump is dead. He doesn't exist. It's not happening. This isn't happening. It's like that's where they're so desperate. But it actually was trending.
Yeah. It was really scary. I mean, the amount of people that were thinking he's actually died. I sent you a video and I was like, have you seen this? You got to pray for him.
So Peter Doocy actually asked the president, he lives in an insulated world. He is better. He's got his finger more on the pulse of culture than let's face it, than almost any preacher I know. Because he knows everything that's going on in the sports area and movies, and if it deals with him, he knows the ratings of the person doing it. But watch this question and answer.
President Trump, something completely different, but about a big viral social media trend over the weekend. How did you find out over the weekend that you were dead? You see that?
No.
People didn't see it for a couple days. 1.3 million user engagements as of Saturday morning about your demise.
Really? I didn't see that. I have heard it's sort of crazy, but last week I did numerous news conferences, all successful. They went very well, like this is going very well. And then I didn't do any for 2 days, and they said there must be something wrong with him. Biden wouldn't do them for months. You wouldn't see him. And nobody ever said there was ever anything wrong with him, and we know he wasn't in the greatest of shape. No, I heard that. I get reports. Now, you knew I did an interview that lasted for about an hour and a half with somebody, and everybody saw that was on one of your competitors. I did numerous shows and also did a number of truths, long truths, I think pretty poignant truths. No, I was very active over the weekend. They also knew I went out to visit some people at the club that I own pretty nearby on the Potomac River. And no, I've been very active actually over the weekend. I didn't hear that one. That's pretty serious stuff.
I'm glad it's
well, it's fake news. You know, it's just it's so fake. That's why the media has so little credibility. I knew they were saying, like, is he okay? How's he feeling? What's wrong? I said, I just left. And it's also sort of a longer weekend, you know, it's Labor Day weekend. So I would say a lot of people know I was very active this Labor Day.
He was very active. Well, you know what I'm talking about? Anybody else relate to this? I'm never going to go. I just learned some because it was I don't know what you call it, the adrenaline. I mean, I'm laying in bed. Let me tell you something. I have a hard enough time winding down at the end of the day. I really do, people. And it's like, you know, I used to struggle with insomnia because I got my mind going. And, you know, I read that and I thought, what happened? And it was like, it was fake news, but it accomplished its demonic purpose of creating an anxiety rush in me like Trump is dead. So I don't want to kill the story. We keep talking about it, but I mean, are we done with this?
Think about it, though, with Biden, where we didn't see Biden for months at a time. Like, he would not do press conferences ever. And Trump just is like, takes like, you know, 2 days. I'm not going to be on camera. I'm going to do some
Let me tell you something. Like,
I'm going to do some phone calls.
Let's do a forensic on our movement. Now, a little self-disclosure here. My audience, and I know you're a bigger group out there than it's showing up in the polls, we thought Biden was a body double. I had people that were serious people telling me they thought that he was a cloned or it was an act. Someone else had taken his place. This isn't the same. They show the picture. You ever seen those pictures of Biden's face now as before? And I was having an intelligent conversation with somebody. I don't want to say too much. They're a business person, substantial. And we're talking real stuff about what's going on in D.C. Then they go, yeah, what do you think about that lizard person who's taking Biden's body over? I go, when they're serious, a lizard person? What in the world are we talking about? Then it was, the fake White House. It's like Kramer out of Seinfeld. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Jerry, it's a fake White House. That's not even Biden. That's another person. It's all fake. They built a duplicate White House, and they're doing. I'm going, oh, my God, is it possible?
So funny. Well,
that's a little bit of my tribe, a little conspiracy way down the rabbit hole.
Well, and I never understood, too, like, if you're making a double, why are you making him so dumb? Why is the double just as dumb as the first one? That's a great point. If I was going to make... I didn't understand. Right. The real shocker is he looks better and he sounds intelligent versus he's falling down like Chevy Chase trying to do Gerald Ford. Anyway, I wanted you to see that, and I got another subject. We only got 6 minutes. I hate to go into this because we got 12-minute segments on Real America's Voice, and so I have to pick a subject that's the juicy subject I want to get into is what's going on over there with the what does the audience want to talk about? I want to tell them about what I see happening with Xi and Putin and... Hey, you know what? We'll just hold over. We'll just pull it into the next segment. I think you should go for it. All right. Well, listen. So India's Modi... Well, Trump... Okay. So, all right. Here we go. Ready? So President Trump is tweeting like a bandit. I mean, so he's got a long weekend. You know, he loves to control the news cycle. Like he took over today. He teased out yesterday. And whenever you watch this, we're doing this thing earlier in the week. What did he say? He said, big announcement coming. And he doesn't tell you what it is. He has learned how to control the media cycle like no president we've ever had. Everybody's, well, what's he going to announce? And then, of course, the left. He has cancer and he's going to be stepping down. that was a trending story amongst the lunatics. Well, of course, he's going to be moving the space station. Now, that's not big news, but he wanted to control the media. So he's moving it to what? Alabama? They're going to put it there, Huntsville, Alabama. Yep. Yeah. Space Force. We're holding our breath, waiting to hear what. But over the weekend, Labor Day weekend, he tweets out. Go to I guess I don't know which. You just have to keep up with me. This is the India tweet. What few people understand is that we do very little business with India. But they do a tremendous amount of business with us. In other words, they sell us massive amounts of goods, their biggest client. But we still sell them very little. Until now, a totally one-sided relationship. And it's been that way for many decades.
The reason is that India's charged us, until now, such high tariffs that the most of any country, that our businesses are unable to sell into India. It's been a totally one-sided disaster. Also, India buys most of its oil and military products from Russia, very little from the U.S. They have now offered to cut their tariffs to nothing, but it's getting late. They should have done so years ago. Just some simple facts for people to ponder. Why is Trump saying that? Because you got to catch this. He's looking at his enemies having a party. That Xi and Putin and Modi of India are all yucking it up over there, having a Shanghai conference, and they're all talking about how frustrated they are with the United States, how they want to get rid of Trump's tariff. This is when you hear about the BRICS nations. Well, here it is. Russia, India, China. If you want to go over to Brazil, where they got the communist, I'd say, illegal president, Lula, who is threatening to put Bolsonaro, our Trump in the tropics, in prison, just like the left wanted to do with Trump over here. The president is looking at those two. Well, look at it, man. They are the strongest economic alliance. Forget Russia. Russia's like, like they say, a gas station with nuclear weapons. But China and India, the future. What are they, 2 billion, 2.5 billion people on the earth? 1/3 of the Earth's population, maybe 33% is those two countries aligned. God help us if they ever decide that they're all closing ranks against a weak and vulnerable American dollar, because, folks, that's the day. All the wind goes out of that beautiful rising, thing called making America great, and it all comes crashing down. You know what could do that? When America turns its back on God and when it turns its back on Israel. And that's another subject for another segment, because our movement has some dangerous thinking in it. People that don't like Jews, Christians that call themselves born again but are actually anti-Israel. And that, my friends, is like the spike protein in the vaccine that'll work its way perniciously into your body and do its mischief. Now, let's cover this. China's Xi is pushing a new global order. Of course, China wants the global order. That's the reason why Trump, the president, dropped this Truth Social. Just to drop a little grenade over there. Because you know what he's saying? I can't get this war with Ukraine under control because India and, ironically, Europe are funding it. They're funding Russia. Well, how are they funding Russia? Russia has its primary income coming in through energy exports. India is buying their weapons and their energy, their oil, etc., from Russia. And now there's a pipeline being built into China. When you've got the strongest economies in the world in terms of markets, that's the billions of people. America is dominant because we got money, but we don't have the population, 350 million. These countries over here, like 1 billion each, they dwarf us. And if they start lining up against us, folks, and then the gas line, the oil line, if there's a pipeline from Russia, I think I'm putting a 30-year pipeline in place that's going to be into China. Well, that means Russia and China are part. If you ever wanted to sit down and prognosticate, as great generals do, to prophetically see, like a Patton or a Sherman, what's coming in the future, you see the fault lines of a potential global reset. If the United States is not preeminent in the world order, anarchy, and as the Bible talks about, lawlessness will break out. But you'll see China, North Korea, Russia, and then India coming alongside compliantly, having to, for the sake of prosperity and peace in that hemisphere. We have a dangerous situation where these nations are already in alliance. What's stopping them? Donald Trump and the hand of God on America right now, using Donald Trump. And I'm just telling you the way it is, and I haven't missed it once on these things. We're going to come back and talk about what's really going on in the world order in the Game of Thrones. Be right back.
We're entering a period of time that has increased hostility against people of faith. It's a time when Christians are going to be tested on a moral, physical, psychological, and even a financial basis. I'm here to remind you that God is the one who has blessed you thus far, and He will take care of you in the future. You have a divine responsibility, however, to see trouble and prepare yourself. For example, with record inflation eating away at the value of the US dollar, the savings in your retirement account is in danger of slipping away. I recommend diversifying your 401k or IRA out of paper assets and into physical gold. And the best way to do that is with a gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. Now that includes no penalties, there's no taxes when you transfer current retirement funds into Birch Gold. To see how it works, I want you to go to lancewallnau.com/Birch and get your free info kit, and you'll be glad that you did.
This portion is too hot to handle for social media. Go to